Right. Think about it. I'm just going to do something very goofy and very strange. Imagine that you have a presentation like this. Today's agenda is use of PowerPoint slides. Use images, pixton icons, and morph, animation of images, make static images to move, bullets, slides using shapes on slides, shapes to configure new objects. Okay, let's stop there. You will get very tired and boring. There's so much, it's so busy. We can't really make out what's ongoing here. So let's compare that with what you're going to see next. Right. West African College of Physicians, Nigeria, with Worthy Works Limited. Actually, for today's agenda, there are 3 things we aim to achieve. The use of PowerPoint slides, images, shapes, video production. The second thing is how we're going to use the OBS for recording, how to download, configure, and test it. And then thirdly, if there's enough time, we will look at how each of us is performing that is just so that we can get a bit of an idea of whether what we are trying to transmit is working. The first slide, the first thing we will do will be so much here, use of PowerPoint. So we're going to concentrate a lot on PowerPoint, okay? Images, animation of images, bullets, slides, shapes to configure new objects, PowerPoint to create a video, and we will watch how to watch a saved video and then share it with others. The second point will be the OBS. This will just be if there is time allowing, because I see already that there is so much within this demo. And lastly, an interactive session. Now compare this with what we saw earlier. What do you think? Would you rather have this kind of appearance? Does this ignite the passion to see what comes up next? I am sure you do. Right, let's start with morphing images. Can you see how that happens? Right, let's see that here. Today, we will discuss peptic ulcer disease. Now see how this man came from nowhere and appeared demonstrating as if he's a real teacher speaking in front of students, okay? Now, we're going straight into the demo. I know that because you're watching this, it's going to be challenging to do something on your PC. But please watch carefully. If you want to put down notes, please do. The demonstration is going to be very gentle, straightforward, and easy to follow. Right, so just see what is going to happen here. Right, here is what we want to produce, okay? At the beginning, you will minimize this a bit. So we want to produce this very same thing. Exactly what we've demonstrated on that side. So what you want to do at this point is insert. Then remember, okay, sorry, I'll go to actually the pixel characters because we want to see that man over here. We can select recent because I got him recently and he's here. I want to show that he's doing just what he did there. Perhaps, let's see what is, I think because we selected that already, I will take him out of here. Thank you. Good, so I've got him here. So what I want to do is to actually put him somewhere. I'll have to minimize this a bit more so that he's outside of this box. That is very important. You will see that it's not on this platform, which is, it gives you a very good idea of what is happening. And then you actually copy this and over here, and then create a new slide just after that one, blank one, and paste that copied person, but instead of outside, you actually bring him inside here. And what writing do we want to say? Today, we will discuss peptic ulcer disease. So I'll just, to make it quicker, I'll just copy it. And I'll just bring it over here. I will paste it here. Now, I just want that to morph, just like we demonstrated here. Okay. So that is what I want to do. Is instead of highlighting this, I will leave that blank. Remember, this one had him outside. Then leave this blank, leave that blank, and then click on the one that had him on the screen here. Go to transitions and then click on morph. Good, you can see it demonstrated already. So let me demonstrate how that looks now. I'll go here, start from here. See nothing, but just let's show the morph action now. Good, see it happening. There's the same way you will do for other parts, which I've just demonstrated. I hope that actually explains what it's all about. If you did, try and copy that. Let me see how you do, and demonstrate it for us to see. In real life situation, we would wait for somebody to demonstrate that. But I suppose that a lot of you will want to do this at your leisure. But we will give some time for some people to actually demonstrate some of it at some stage, like I mentioned before we left the last time. I will appeal to those joining later to mute themselves so that we don't have any distracting noise if it's possible, practically. At this point, so we just showed how to morph an image, and we demonstrated something there, how it moved from being stationary to being in motion, kind of, and creating dynamism in presentation. On this one, this is discussing the pathogenesis of peptic ulcer disease. So let's look at this. We're going to demonstrate it. It's beautiful, isn't it? But it can actually be meant for purpose. So let's talk about this. Healthy stomach epithelia are coated with a layer of mucus. The mucus, when you look at it endoscopically, it looks a very smooth surface. And however, there are some toxic chemicals released by Helicobacter pylori and gastric acids, which can damage this mucosa and forms an ulcer. When you perform an endoscopy, you will see this appearance. Right, that is a long haul, but we can make it easier and more interesting by what you're going to see next. Right, so healthy mucosa looks like this. Epithelia, very healthy. Looking at it endoscopically, it looks this beautiful. And then when you have a look at it when it's infected by bacteria or gastric acid excess, then it's going to form an ulcer. Endoscopically, that ulcer is going to look like this. That actually concentrates the student's idea or the trainee's idea completely so that they actually concentrate themselves on the right spot, and the training goes on perfectly and interestingly. Now, you want to now watch carefully and see how this morph was created. Again, I appeal that if there's anyone who's actually not muted themselves, please do, because it helps for concentration. Let me see if I can mute people really, because it's some noise there is really not helping us. Perfect. Okay then. Right, I'm going to now go on to demonstrating how this happens. For clarity, I'm going to open a new PowerPoint presentation and a blank page. And we'll clean that one off, delete it. Now remember the picture on the other presentation is peptic ulcer disease. So we'll go to insert, and then we'll go and find a picture. It's an online picture. And peptic ulcer disease. You'll find the picture here, insert it. So this one, you're fetching a picture from online. Good. You can also get this picture on your desktop. Delete it. Increase the size of the picture. Just drag it as much as you can. Very good. Fill the space there and center it. Let's imagine you're making a simple presentation like that. It will just show a very simplified thing and you cannot explain well. So we will go down and try to morph this so that you can highlight certain parts. Close this for clarity so that it shows a bigger picture and see what I'm going to be doing. Right, so what you do is leave that and then duplicate that slide down. So you leave that alone and you come onto this part. Here, copy this image and then you still paste on top of it that image. So there are two images there overlapping. Okay, so you move one towards one side, click on the first one, which is behind, go to picture format. We're going to change the color. Yeah. We want it to be very light grayscale. Show very well over here. Select that. So you can see two pictures there. One grayscale, another one is real picture. So you overlap it completely. And then there's this bar, which you minimize the picture by decreasing it. This is an important step that we want to embark upon. Okay, so at this point, your pictures overlapping each other, you highlight them both. And the intention is you want to drag one of the edges after highlighting them both, keeping them highlighted. Note that the plus sign must show. Okay. And now release. You can see from here what is actually showing in the center, which is your interest. And after you've done that bit, you click outside and then come onto the picture again and click on top of it. With that in place, go to picture format again, then the crop appears. Click on that and instead of don't click on crop, just come to crop to shape and select a shape that is convenient. I think oval shape is great, so I'll click on that. Still not clicking on the picture, you come on to crop. After you've done that, click on crop. Then it formulates a shape for you. Then come over here and then push this because we want to highlight that first part, demonstrating what a healthy mucosa looks like. Okay, brilliant. So that's a healthy mucosa with mucus showing very, very nicely there, covering and protecting a healthy stomach. When you've done that, you come on to the left side, duplicate, and then click on that and duplicate again. So we're on the third slide now. Now, without doing anything a lot here, just highlight the whole image again, and then, of course, move everything with the intention to show the healthy mucosa if the person did an endoscopy. And here you see that that is coming to the center. That is our interest. Then you click outside and bring and click on that place that was selected the first time. Okay. Then you go to format picture, you click on that. So it then brings that up. With that happening, you then drag this over and move it. Okay. And move it up. Okay. Because we want to show a healthy mucosa when it is uninflamed. Okay. Remember, the idea here is to show how peptic ulcer disease presents. You've done that. Then you come over here, duplicate again, down, and then select everything again. And move this to show next the way bacteria affects. Okay. Okay, so it's showing that a bit far away. So I'll bring it down again, just so that I can show everything as you can see here. With that, you click outside, click on that image again, and then go to picture format, and you click on crop. Then you adjust this again, right, drag that down, and see that bacteria is coming on top, as well as creating something, a damage. So combination of bacteria and acid creating damage, okay? With an ulcer that is based on what we can describe here. You've done that, you go on to this part and duplicate slide again, and you copy the entire motion again, and then we're going to show that the ulcer looks like. Click outside, and then click on the selected area, picture format, as we've done many, many times. And you click on the crop, and then you move that. Okay. And that is coming to shape. It looks repetitive, but it's important. Reduce that. Making sure that it's really showing very well. And here you have black part highlighting. It's a good practice to actually show the first image, copy the first slide rather, and then paste it down here. With that done, you're going to demonstrate morph. Do not select the first one, leave the first one. Then you press Command or Control, and you can select the ones you want to morph. And then transition, click on morph. Brilliant. So we can actually reduce the duration we want to morph, or keep it at 2 seconds. But now that you have done that, you come over here and demonstrate how it looks like. Okay? So here you have it. So imagine you're describing the fact that this is the pathogenesis and how peptic ulcer disease presents. A healthy mucosa, in fact, protected by a mucus. The Helicobacter pylori colonizes, epithelial cells will come on and they get damaged, and then all of the muscularis mucosa goes away and there's an inflammation, and then ulcer results. In as much as this is effective because it's showing pictures, you can easier set this with one emphasis at a time. But let's see that. Good. A healthy gastric mucosa is coated with a layer of mucus. And this is how that healthy mucosa looks like. Very nice film with no breaches. However, there are some toxic events such as acids and Helicobacter pylori, which colonizes if it colonizes the gastric mucosa, it leads to ulceration with loss of the very smooth surface that we saw earlier. And this, if you perform endoscopy, will reveal an ulcer. And this ulcer, oh, sorry, I think I didn't select the ulcer when I was moving. I will show that to you again. Right. Perfect. There you have the ulcer, and which I didn't show initially, but I'll take it back again to show you how it looks like again, just for emphasis. Back. Perfect. Okay. Start again. So healthy on endoscopy, pathogenetic damages, and an ulcer results. Good. Here is a summary of all you have seen. Thank you very much. I hope this actually explains the situation very well. Bye-bye. Patient is brought to hospital, and then the ambulance people are very nice. They would draw the patient onto the hospital, and in very good centers, the doctors or even nurse will come out to welcome the patient. Now, this is just a single slide animated and has contained so much. Of course, you're not going to be telling this in a kind of a presentation format. This may be relative to another specialty where you will actually put pictures and just continue speaking. This may be too much for an e-learning, but you can also make cells, for example, to move. If you're talking about pathogenesis of some kind of disease where bacteria enters a particular place, and you can actually demonstrate this using this animation. So let's see how this works. Now, the demo of how we can get that kind of motion to occur. Objects moving, and just as we've seen in the previous video, first of all, we want to import the images. So first of all, let's go on to online images. We want to import a hospital, for example. Illustration, okay, or we can just do the same thing that was in the other presentation, but let's try something new. Let's get this nice hospital into view. And okay, importing. So we've got a hospital there. Perfect. So let's take this out. And I want to then import an ambulance. Insert, come on through, or actually, you can actually just go on to this point, say ambulance. Usually it's best to get the PNG, which the format, which then gives the very nice system. So what I was trying to say there is that PNG files do not have backgrounds, and so they are beautiful for illustrations. So we've got an ambulance here. Remove that up. Then let's rotate it so that it's actually okay. Let's assume this ambulance is going to come from the right side. Okay. And then let's get our patient on a wheelchair. Patient, wheelchair. Okay, taking time to find what that image might be. But if it's difficult, we could actually just say patient. Okay, so it's not getting wheelchair. Okay, that's perhaps the spelling was the main issue. So patient in a wheelchair, again, let's get it on a PNG. And we got the patient there, which we got earlier. Then
reduce that and just correct that image a bit. We're importing at the moment, so don't worry, we will soon get, you can rotate this picture so that it is format picture. We're going to use rotation. Let's flip it horizontal and see. Perfect. So it's actually flipping the other direction. Good. And then we get a doctor. So doctor, PNG. We will get one serious looking doctor who, just like the one we used over here. And then we get that doctor standing here. Very good. Let's reduce him so that he's commensurate with the size of what we want to show. He will be just close to the entrance of the hospital. Perhaps there. Good. So we will then close this. I'm going to make it just as you saw. Close this part and just reduce that part for you. Right, let's reduce this a bit so that we can show how we animate this. So here we want to show how the ambulance is going to move from here to here, and then the patient comes out of the ambulance into the hospital and the doctor welcomes them. Perfect. Ambulance should be bigger. Yes, perhaps that size. Patient should be commensurately just about the size. And they should, by the time they come out, they should be behind that car. But now they are in front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push that behind. So you it is sent backwards. So you click and they're backwards there already. Perfect. So it tells me that if the car passes that way and it gets to that place, then they'll be behind. Perfect. So I'll stay here and keep that ambulance there. Then the doctor will be here, but will not appear until the patient has moved over there. So let's put it here. Now we're going to apply the animation. Now, if you look at this moment, you see it's just showing the doctor there, but we will do something. So we want that when you click the button, the ambulance should move. So you click on that and go to animations. And then there is a path animation. Then you draw a line, okay, which is this line. So you want to use that line to drag this onto that point so that it parks there.
This is just estimation. There's no specific
how it moves. I think it moved too far. I just wanted to show a little bit that it is actually around there. Okay. Then we want it to take on click, and that would be a bit long duration so that you should ensure real motion of about 7 seconds or 9 seconds, let's put it that way. And then after that, this patient should come out of the ambulance and move towards the doctor. So let's make another path. You will come out of here. So you click and they move close to the doctor. Okay, let's somewhere there. But again, we want this to be a slow motion again. But I'm sorry, hold on. It should actually be after the ambulance has arrived. And it should be slowly because there's an elderly person and they have to be quite slow. And then once they reach there, the doctor, who should not be there before, will appear. So I click there and I say he appears. Okay, and that should be with previous, meaning that after, no, so it will be after previous, meaning that the patient should arrive before he appears. Okay, now let's see. We will talk about this in the presentation. Here it goes. In civilized centers, this patient who has ulcer and might be very unwell will have to be brought in by an ambulance as an emergency rescue situation. And when the ambulance arrives, the ambulance staff are very careful and gentle. They will wheel this patient right through to the doctors, and doctors are actually on standby to welcome the patients. I hope this looks very good, and I think it can really change and make your pictures speak to your audience. Thank you. We'll stop here.
Perfect. Well, I think that is just another way to animate stationary objects. Now, answering a question regarding the multiplying the number of slides, you can see that it was only one slide that was used in putting those pictures into the volumes of work, volumes of speech and sentences that we made there. That therefore tells you that you're actually limiting the number of things, and yet you can speak a lot, and then it stays in the brain of the people who listen to you. Now, the idea here is that, of course, many of us, we know about the homunculus and how that our systems actually store information in a rugged manner. That is the reasoning behind why certain parts, mind mapping is actually a key activity in understanding or enhancing memory. Now, the issue here is that linear writing and reading texts has never been the best way to catch information. And so some people, whereas they can do that, but others really struggle to do it. And so illustrations would actually stay with those who learn quicker. And that hence the reasoning behind just putting all these animations and photo speaks during our presentations. Right, now this one, when I do this, I'm going to stop sharing and ask my collaborator to demonstrate this very simple one, how to use shapes in order to produce this kind of system that will move around. So this patient has come on to the hospital, and the doctor was asking questions about symptoms and signs of peptic ulcer disease. And epigastric pain, yes, there was a few, burning in nature, and it was radiating towards the back, relating to eating and so on. Of course, a lot more there. So I just showed you one, but the intention here is to show how that system works. Let's go back again to have a look at that again. You see how it looks? So in real life, you can see that there are about 1, 2, 3, 4. So a student listening to you will expect 4 things to come. And once they're done, they will be glad that they have actually sorted or maybe listened to a lecture, and they would actually be eager to listen to the last part of it because it's colorful, has some information to pass, and it is not plenty. Right. So I think if Peter is here or Charles, one of you should indicate. I will want you to look at this slide very well, and you are going to use Windows to produce it because I did this on Mac. And for those who would want to use bullet points, this is going to be a very easy thing to make. And actually, it's not as complicated as the other bits. Let me show you how it's demonstrated. Watch carefully. If neither of these are there and there's someone among us who wants to demonstrate it, I will stop sharing my screen and give it to you to actually share. So this is very careful. Watch. So here, you will open and a new presentation. The intention is to, first of all, make that layout blank. I like working on blank sheets That's very, very important because then you can manipulate things appropriately. Then you go on to shapes. You get that from insert. Then you take the square shape and which you can manipulate into a rectangular shape as done. And then you want to change the color of the shape in a way that is presentable. Remove the outline as done. Next, you want to insert another kind of information on top of that as the first information you saw. That you do by inserting a text box, and then you type within it. I guess I was a lazy typer. I don't like typing a lot, so I like getting pictures, which speaks easier and quicker for me. But some of you may want to type easily and faster, so that may not be a problem for you. Good. And then Arial rounded empty is what I use often sometimes. You can use Arial depending on whichever font that you are in love with. Now you copy the whole of that because you want to merge this. So group, look at that group. So it actually attached that symptom and signs of peptic ulcer disease to the shape. This is how it looks like, flat, without anything more to it. But we want to make, remember, we want to make that beautiful appearance as demonstrated. At this point, we'll bring another shape which looks like a rectangle. Again, but this time around, I'm going to do something that is going to look a bit funnier, nicer. Perhaps you may like that. Removing the outline. If you don't, it's going to create something that is bizarre. But watch carefully what I'm going to do. I'm taking a shape that has a rounded same side. And this is going to be a merging. So that's going to be a new technique which you're going to see here. So you rotate that and it gets to 90 degrees, then it stops for you. Oppose it to the side, drag it down, and fill the space or just adjust it. You see that there's that very colorful end which you can adjust. Remove the outline again. And then what we're going to do here is select both. If you do a control left click, you can actually select them both. And look at that point, union. That is, you click on that very funny shape and click on union, then it merges those shapes together into one. That is how you actually create shapes. Again, some of you might think that this is graphic designs, which is fine. Some people have a flair for graphic designs while some don't. But I bet if you have that skill to yourself, it's to your advantage. So this is, you copy the same shape and paste it onto that space and adjust it. Then change the color, as you see, that's shape fill. We're changing another color just to give a contrast, just to understand. You are not under obligation to choose different colors. Again, you paste the form, the same one that you did before, or you can choose the yellow one and copy and paste. You're dragging them away so that you can actually visualize the differences. Again, I'm coloring them for the purpose of emphasis. Right, so this is, I think this is going to be the last one. And then we're going to do something which at each stage, I will demonstrate how it looks so that you can see. So you see that nice colors have been formed here, but it's looking very flat, a little bit uninteresting. We want it to look very glamorous in some way to attract attention. Remember, attention span is just about 4 minutes. If the person listening to you gets distracted, they're gone and you've lost them. So you copy excluding the first shape, and all of them are all together. We group them together, drag them backwards, such as to show in the pen here. Sorry, I think I manipulated away from there, which is a shame. Okay, so there it has shown how the shape looks like. So you've moved it and it's shown how flat they are, but you're selecting one at a time. Brilliant. And then writing a bit on it. So we want to write something on it, but something dramatic is going to happen when you write. Just observe carefully. When you write and you merge that shape is going to come on top. Then you're going to learn another technique on top of it while that happens. Apologies again, because I think at the last time I did mention that things were going to go a little bit more complex, but I know that some are finding it very straightforward and easy, but it may be slightly not your kind of thing. So this is how the writing would look like. But again, it's blank, but we have not matched it yet. Very good. Now that we're matched, we have done that, we're going to match the two shapes, the writing and the shape together. Group. Very good. So you see that the red actually came on top now. So we have got to get it to the back. That's not, we don't want it to be on top. We want it to be just above the gray scale thing. So you push it with that send backwards arrow. So that's send backwards. And then when it goes too much backwards, you can bring it back by one step. So the number of times you click backwards will push it far. So 3 times means going backwards 3 times. It's quite as simplistic as that. And see, this is how it shows. Let's quickly do a writing on the second one as well. And then we're going to do a little bit of formatting. If you don't want to format, that's fine. It's your choice as well. You may not want to format things, but I like formatting it just so as to highlight a little bit of pleasure to it. It makes learning quite interesting to me. So I'm going to drag that out and then paste just so that I can write something on that. So if you want to make bullet points here, you can make it as well. I know this is small, but this is just for the purpose of illustration. I'm going to change that color so that it can actually be readable to black. Second symptom or something. Or maybe you can choose whatever, depending on what you're teaching really. So now that you've done that, you want to then group that shape and writing together. Remember, shape format. Then you choose, you go to group. Perfect. Now it brings it to the surface again, which you want to push back. So send backwards. Perfect. So it's send backwards now. Now you've got 2 writings there. We're going to now format it in a way that it looks better. But just have a quick look at what stage it is at the moment. So if you're going to format the whole thing, you have to select all of it like that and then format object. So you right click on it, and then you format object. Now look at the right side. It said format shape. So you really have to carefully find which one. You go for the shadow and then move some of this. Again, it's trial and error here as to the estimate of how much. I tend to just move that size slightly and keep observing until I find a very nice and fine appearance with the blurring, the angle, the distance. And then the presets will give us some direction as well. I just want a little bit of finesse, just a bit of nice look there. You can see how it's lifting, and just look at how it's going to look now when this is shown. Can you beat that? So you look at that, it just shows a bit of shadows and nice looks there. And it's just not as boring. Now, the next thing is, how do we then get this presentation exciting? Now, I'm going to show you two techniques. Either one is paste it one after the other and drag each slide out so that you're going to present them sequentially. Then it shows a kind of a decrement in the numbers of slides that are on the left side. That then keeps the students' interest that, oh, the slides are about finishing. So at least it can keep their attention. Remember, this is about psychology, trying to teach someone who may be under stress and or who may be struggling with knowledge, and you definitely want to get their attention all the time. And that's the technique here. So you duplicate the slide and keep pulling out the one next to it and keep pulling it out. It's quite straightforward to do. And then the last one, we're going to pull out the last one there. And then I will show you how it actually plays in terms of if you were not going to morph it. So you go to the first one and just start showing how it plays. Right, so symptoms of peptic ulcer disease, first symptom, second symptom, and then you see it just as if it's in motion. But this is not as smooth as you would like it. So for those who are diehards, like my secretary and chairman of this committee, and I'm sure Professor Madaki too, they would want something more to it than that. And so this is, you add morph to it and see how I'm going to decrease that how quickly it goes around. If you put 1 second, it's going to be morphing in 1 second. If you put 2 seconds, more 2 seconds. So see how it's actually demonstrating motion. Much easier because we put the morph function to just one slide. So just one slide, and then that morphs it, all of it for you. Okay. Another way here, which I think is going to just do the animation, using animation for it, which I think we learned animation already, but this one is a bit technical animation, which is just about using the arrow or the line system. I will stop this video at this point because I think we would need to just have one person to show us so that I know that I'm just not talking to people who are not interested. I want someone somewhere to show me a little bit, at least up to the point of getting the shapes into being merged and so on, even if it means to talk through and see how it works through. I will stop the sharing here. If somebody can indicate, is there anyone who wants to take the flow? And I can just to demonstrate a few of it. If it may just be just one or two, depending on what you want to do. If you are not, no one is happy to take on the screen, I will proceed with more so as to get this sent to you via video, and then you can have a look at it at your own time and follow it as you would wish. But I just would be happy to get somebody to volunteer. Right, so now this is actually using the animation type. You can see that already moving. So that actually gives me an idea already at this point. So let's stop this at this point. Perfect. The next would have been this one, because this one is particularly important because I think one of us, I would call it the first name, Amam, I remember, who asked for something like this. But can I find out, let me get a feedback, even if a message or a hand raised to tell me, would somebody like to actually see what is far more, to demonstrate a little bit of that, which we just finished? Or would you want me to continue? We just have got quite some time to go. There are about 2 more demonstrations, perhaps, and we can go on. So, Peter, are you happy to?
Okay, sure. Let me just It's to some point. I got lost at the point, but
Okay.
Yes. Can you see my screen yet?
All right. Let me stop sharing mine. Yes. Is
okay.
that
So I'll just create
a blank presentation?
Yes, blank presentations and new slide, blank.
Yeah.
This is go to insert and shapes.
That's correct.
Okay,
so actually start from the left, one of the angles. Anyway, you can do that as well, just as far as it fills up that space.
Okay. So I'll reduce this so I can.
Yeah. You should fill up the space completely. Don't be in a hurry. Just move that up until it fills the whole of that. Very good. It actually would tell you, stop it for you. Perfect. Go on.
Okay.
Yeah, grayscale is fine. Or whichever one you want. And then, can you do something about the outline? Stay on the shape format. Go to shape format again on the drawing circle. Shape format. At the top, drawing tools. At the top in the center, shape format in the center.
Okay.
Very good. Click on that. And then the shape outline in the color. Very good. Now put it no outline.
Okay, no outline.
Very good. All right, then proceed. Insert. Okay. Yeah, you have that already. It's good practice to start at the edge, and then you don't have to be dragging it all the time.
Okay, yes. So let's start from here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm supposed to insert.
You needed to write something first, but don't worry. You go on. Don't change the color yet. I want you to insert another shape that looks a bit at the right side. Now go to the shapes, those shapes. Okay. Drop down the drop-down arrow, because there are many shapes down here. No, just go to the drop-down arrow that's below that one. No, still on the shapes. Left, on the shapes. Now there's a drop-down arrow below the drop-down arrow. The double, very good, that one. Very good. So there are many shapes there. So I wanted to select one that's having rounded one side of the rectangles, rounded rectangles. So the one side is rounded shapes. Not that one.
Not this one.
Just one side that is rounded. Yeah, that one. Yeah, you just browse or past it. No.
This?
Second one.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Now click there.
Sorry.
No, don't do too much. Don't do too much things there. Just one thing at a time.
Okay.
Can you make it bigger? Because what you're doing is not what I want. What I want is very good. Then it means you're going to rotate it. It's going to be rotated. So you use the mouse to hold the arrow there, and then rotate it. No, rotate it to very good, so that such that the square flat shape is directly opposing onto that's on the right side of that square. Right, so oppose it there against it. Very good. And then expand it so that it fills the space. It fills the brown space. All right, then reduce the length by dragging it. Very good. Drag, very good. Stay there. Now, copy both of them, the bigger rectangle If you do that, you're going to copy everything. That is not, I want you to leave out the gray one.
Okay, okay.
So either you use a control and then you copy. Very good. That's fine. Okay, very good. Then when you've done that, now this is where I will have challenge. Go to shape format and left, go to the left, you see match shapes. Can you see match shaped?
Yeah.
Drop down arrow, put the union. Very good. Have you clicked already? Very good.
Yes.
So you can see that it's all become one. Okay.
Okay.
Now fill the shape with a color. So any color of your choice. Perfect. So I stop here. I think you understand that already, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, the writing and other things will follow as you go on to developing things. And the animations and so on, the morphing and so on will happen with time as well. So I think this is the idea to pass across. We'll stop this at this point, then we'll give a little bit of about 10 minutes break and see how we can continue from there. Because I think we've been teaching, talking, and there may be some information overload at this point. And unless there's objection for us to continue, I'd like to take a break. But I am not tired. What do the others feel? I hope I have not become like a monotonous teacher.
I think a break is necessary.
Thank you very much. So let's take a break. Welcome back to where we stopped, and I will be sharing my screen again and just going to show you this part. Right, so now this is very interesting. Again, it may not be for all of us, but some people would like to see how that this patient who was diagnosed with peptic ulcer disease needs to be treated. There are dietary adjustments which the patient can use, or some antacids if they cannot tolerate proton pump inhibitors. The most potent ones are actually very, very effective and almost have eradicated the need for surgery. And surgery is reserved for those with complicated cases. Again, this is again for effect and passion, and this you can produce. These were not imported at all. They were produced using shapes. And of course, this one is a free image on the cut out image as well, which you are going to see how we get this in. Right, so this is a demo of what you just saw. Right, we will go through this demo together. Right, so a new presentation will suffice. And here you can see a blank space so as to know that this can be achieved very easily. I'll always like to change again the background for effect. Perfect. So this black, but this black is going to be it's going to be light because we're going to put a transparent form. So you can see the format shape comes up there, which is just what I just answered. So you reduce the transparency, and that gives a little bit of shade of black. Right, so getting the cutout images, you just click on icons and there's a cutout people. In Windows, it's very easy. If you do that, you can just see a very beautiful interface. that gets populated with all of these people. They are all free to be used. You don't need to pay dime as long as you get the Windows PowerPoint, Microsoft Windows PowerPoint. You have it. And no license needed. There's nothing about it. So just import it and you click on it and then it brings it into the place and then you can cite it whichever where you want to put it in. Now, next, we're going to be using shapes to create that appearance you saw, maybe a little bit different. We're going to do two just for time so that you will see how it plays out. Again, there is no hard facts about what shapes you should use. It depends on whichever one that tickles your fancy and the variability that comes with each presentation. So here I chose the cylinder, but we're going to manipulate this cylinder in such a way that it's going to produce a shape that is completely different from what we originally got. So I'm taking up a circle or an oval shape, putting over there, and I'm going to adjust it in such a way as to then, and then you're going to see many functions here at the same time, but they are all taken slowly and deliberately with an intention to get you to see. After doing this, you select both of them and look at that. You go to format shape and then those options will come up for you. You can choose to do anything and see what happens. If you choose subtract, see how it has just taken away the other shape. So nothing, so I don't want to do subtract. I want to just fragment instead. And when you fragment, it's going to produce another shape which you then take out. So yes, I like this shape. So I'm going to throw away that bit. I'll keep this other bit because I want to create a kind of a purse where whatever you want to release will come out of that information box and it will just be brilliant. It's a nice set of information that will create the viewer's passion to see what is within the box. And the learner or student or even doctors would want to see what is in that box, that kind of thing. And before you know it, their attention has been captured and they know what you're talking about in regards to the treatment for peptic ulcer disease. That is the kind of impression you want to create. Again, so you put them side by side. This is so that you don't produce each, you just copy and then move it. A simple command on Windows is to say Control D. When you get it selected, Control D will just automatically create another one for you after you highlight it, and you put it side by side as you've done. Next, we want to then create those information holders which you saw. The impression here is to actually make it pop in and out. So it should fit into the shape properly. So I'm measuring it, but I can take it down, out, and then complete the, okay, so I made it double now by just, if I like, I just copy and paste outside of the main field and I post them together. Then I copy that just so that, and I take it out of there so that it doesn't interfere with what I'm doing within the field of vision. I change it. So I formatted my shape, but I have not matched them. So here I'm going to create it into a single union with a thin line dividing them. Perfect. So you see it fits in very perfectly. But I have a problem. It's showing the same color. I must have a contrast. So what I would do next, I guess you know what to do. I would either change the color of the information holder or change the color of the back, the container. And I've chosen to just change the color of the container. And there you have it. Brilliant. So all sorted now, but it's actually pushing my back behind me. So what do I need to do? So remember sending things backwards and forwards again. Right. So I have now sent it backwards, but then, and it kept the other view from, so it actually acted like a pulse kind of. Again, the same problem here, which I will have to sort by sending in this information inwards or backwards. And then I'm going to write on it and I'll make it to pop in and out. Again, all of this is appreciation, visual appreciation of what can be done. I guess you would want to see how this actually operates in real life when it's eventually produced. I'm not sure whether you want me to wait and see how it fully gets done, but I believe for the purpose of those who would watch this, it's important that we just finish the process so that it can be shown when you want to use it in the video that you would get. So I will allow insertion of text box here. The reaction time here was slightly delayed because I did this late at night. So there were times I had some information blockage, but it's just an idea running through. Don't be worried. I'm typing some information here. It may be too tiny for you to see, but I was typing some information here. I will soon make this bigger so that you would see every information going in there. But the intention here and the idea is put some text, make it formatted in such a way that it is readable. Always remember the size of the information will, as it presents on the PowerPoint system, will be made bigger when you make the presentation. So often check the formatting all the time. It's very, very relevant. Again, simple information there. I wish I had typed quicker and faster so as to make it quicker. But the idea here is, again, produce a system, get it readable, get it moving, catch attention, and keep it on. And that win with the student or the trainee doctor understanding what you're teaching them. Right, so primary, surgical, and so on. So we write a few things there. Let me just drag it on. The writing part is almost done. Let's give it some short moments. We're almost there. There will be occasions of when an error occurred, and that error was deliberate so as to let you know what happens if an error happens when you're producing these things. You can always get back on it and get it right. Right, so I'm going to label those containers now with a few information as they would be the standout information immediately the slide is reached. So the student then understands that there are two ways to treat peptic ulcer disease, which is conservative and surgical. And from that point, they would expect to see things coming out of the pots or the purses. Well, I still see a lot of people still here, so that gives me a bit of courage that I am not boring you. I really wish I could make this a bit more interesting than it is. I might end up becoming the more culprit of not making the presentation interesting, but demonstration is always filled with some kind of limitations of understanding how things go. Nevertheless, I think it is very healing by the time you learn these techniques and you just move your presentation skills to another level. So this one, you just remember what we do. We just do that to arrange and group them together. If you want to put the information so that it doesn't, very good. So you group all of the information together so that they are actually able to move at the same time. If you don't, one object will move and leave the others behind. So it's important that you don't forget to group there. So you go to arrange and group, highlight, go to shapes, or go to arrange, and very good. So now after doing that, you see the arrow? Both the handle of the back, or the purse rather, and the body completely came to the front. So I definitely have to do something. I have to really remove. I have to remove something, that is to remove the formatting where I arrange both of them together. Sorry about the noise.
I'm meeting one. South Africa, I won't see Susanna for the meeting. I see.
Okay. Right. So this actually took me slightly backwards because I think I was trying to stop the noise for somebody there. But again, the idea here is quite straightforward and easier, but I will not repeat this for us because it's too much of going over the whole hassle again. I will move this a bit and see how quickly we can. Very good. Just get back to what we were before. Sorry about that. Presenting within, very good. Let's get over to this side. Very good. Almost done here. So at this point, you can see how the presentation will now ensue. Right. So here I'm using animation to actually move this. The animation that we used earlier. So it's quite, it's just a demonstration of the same things we did before, just for emphasis and repetitions. And there you see everything ready at this point. And now ready for presentation. Right. So you said conservative. So here, when I finished this and I clicked, the conservative went downwards, which means that there was an error. So here, the way to manage that error is to go to animation pen, which is where you know where your things are located. So you then want to undo that animation and correct it. And then when you've done, you want to get, which is when you do one, it will go to the second, it goes to the second group, which means you're going to maneuver it to bring it back to the top again. Right, so that's how I'm just trying to rearrange that by, changing the last one to be the first so that it actually recognizes that when I press the button. But that's a simple error. If you try doing this and you get into problems, let me know. I can always send how it should be done in a different way So you can see how it moves easily, quite straightforward, and keeps the attention on. Perfect. I think that is about that. So there's lots of animation that can happen when you do bullet points. You can also do shapes by itemizing things like this, using shapes as well, combining them together. And here, remember this, which I showed earlier. Those are the multiple animations, shape modifications, morphing, and interactions we can get in terms of demonstrating some e-learning capabilities that can go across and enrich our materials. What I want us to be able to do at this point is, how do you record your screen? In other words, how do you, because sometimes you just, I have just demonstrated to you how you can record a screen, but how do you do it? There are two things. On PowerPoint, this is integrated on the Windows PowerPoint system. Let me show you this on this. Let me share my screen again here so you can see. I will share this again, and I will show you something here. A screen recorder. So here you say insert. So when you say insert, you can see that there is a screen recording here. So I can record the screen by clicking here, and it then presents with me to me these things. Do I want to put audio to it? Do I want a specific area that I want to record? And what do I want to record? So if I don't select anything, then it gives me the order, and I can select. Let's say select. Again, Zoom has some restrictions. It would not allow you to do certain things when you're on Zoom, but if you are doing this without any issues, you can very good do that. You can select an area there, for example, and then the red button appears, and you click on it, and then it counts for you. 3, very good, go. Hello. Of course, I didn't put anything here, but it tells me to join with audios, whatever. I am here trying to demonstrate something, and so on and so forth. Okay. And then I want to finish. When you want to finish the screen recording, you just move your arrow up to the top, and it gives you options of pausing or stopping. So I'm stopping. It has stopped, and then it would show where it would be recorded, and I can save that. If I choose not to speak while recording, I can put a voice over. Now, this is very important. For those who are using Mac, I will stop sharing this and come back to my Mac now. Right. If you're using a Mac, what you use to share your screen is Command and the Command Shift 5. That kind of thing. Now, unfortunately, you can't. I'll stop this. I will go back again and share my screen again so you see what would happen. Perfect. So if you want to record a screen, you just say Command Shift 5, and then this will appear. A kind of a camera will appear, and these options are here for you: entire or select an area. And then you have options here where you can say you want to save the recording to desktop or documents or mail someone or other location. Okay, you want it to wait till you're ready to start recording, 10 seconds, 5 seconds or more. You want a microphone, in other words, you want to speak or you don't want to speak. Okay, if you don't want to speak, choose none. If you want to speak, you can select on that so that you can record with this with some audio as well. And then we've selected 5 seconds to hold on for you, and we set the entire screen. Let's imagine we want a selected portion of the screen. Okay, so we'll click on that. So it tells you that. Now, with that selection, you can then click on that and it starts doing that for you. But that's not what we want. Let's stop that and go on to entire screen and select that. Then your timer starts counting and then you start talking. When you're done, and the best way to stop it is Command Shift 5, and then you stop here. The stop button will appear and then you stop here. And note that here, you see, you've captured it here. I'm very quick here, but this is just, see how it shows. Stop, it is Command Shift 5, and then you stop here. The stop button will appear. Very good. Now, you can see that. Now, if you did not learn anything in the whole of the, which of course this is pessimistic message to say, but I apologize if I am saying something that is not very right. If there's nothing that has been learned very well, or some aspects of this training has not been exciting, the aspect of recording your screen would be very important in preparing your materials for submission for e-learning. Because some of us are camera shy and we would not like to say things while we're looking at camera or presentations. And so you may just want to record your screen and then have a voiceover added to it. Okay? So use Command Shift 5, F5 rather. Then once you've got it, you can configure it and you save it, and then you can sort it as appropriate. So that was what I was showing here when I got to this point where I demonstrated here. And after we finish, let me just take it down. I'm going to move it quick so that after you finish the recording of it, like that, at this point, it's still playing. Just wait for it. It's just getting towards the end. I'm afraid I have a lot of information overload, which is perhaps the reasoning behind why the presentation is so hectic. And it might, I did think that I apologized ahead of time, but I think my apology wasn't that appropriate. Maybe it should be more apologies, that this was going to be a bit technical. However, when you get to this point, you then are able to save the screen. Very good. And you see that it happens there. So that's the summary of, okay, I'll stop it at this point. That's a summary of how you record screen. Now, another technicality, which all of us will be able to do, is how to make a video for PowerPoint presentation using PowerPoint itself. I think a lot of us would have used this before. If not, this is a very rich resource. You can use Zoom to make videos, make presentation and save, but again, PowerPoint is much more interactive. You would need it anyway. So this is one way of doing it. And just, you open the presentation you want to video record, click on slideshow, the record slide, and then record slideshow, and then listen and review as appropriate. Save and edit in your private editor. Now this should be the last slide, so please bear with me, and let's see how it plays. Because I think I will save us the other bits, OBS, for next time. Right, so you can see slideshow, and then record slideshow. And then you enable media if there are some media contents. and it presents this beautiful view. Windows have a better idea here because you can actually write what you want to read at the top, close to where your camera is. And once you have opened, you can see after opening, it showed who I was, and then it starts counting when you're ready. And you click on that, then recording in progress starts. And obviously, I was just mottling my lips there, but I was saying things in my mind. But I was just trying to show that you can actually record, you can pick some pen, imaginary pen there, and write on the PowerPoint as you speak. And when you go through it, it will actually produce a very nice material which you can stop and edit each slide and reproduce. If, for example, the language you're using is not fit for what you're saying, you will have a chance to review it and correct it. Now, this is just racing through it, just to let you to get to the point where I will stop the presentation and proceed from there. So that has been stopped. You then end the presentation, the end show. That's if you want to stop it or you want to review it, you click on the play and it just plays that part for you. When you're satisfied with every part of it after the playing, you then go to the end show. Very good. So when that is ended, then you need to save this presentation in a very nice way. It is called export. You're going to export it and save in a particular format. Remember, it gives you the impression of, so MP4 is the format by which you can actually translate all that you have saved from the video into a form that you can listen to as a video. If you save as PDF, of course, it's useless to everyone. We need to have it at MP4. And the quality would be set at high, and you save it somewhere, export it. When you want to export, see how it's going to export. It's a slow process, but it can be achieved. Remember, all of this can be done offline. You don't need an online system to do it. So it's free, and a system that you would like, which is very cheap and okay for you to use. Okay. Now that is just about that. Your video would be saved where you saved it, and the next thing would be editing and so on. Okay, you see the progress? That is where the progress is. It's just starting, and I cannot bear to wait for it to finish. But it will finish, and you will be able to find your video and play it. Definitely, I was able to find it. Believe me, the video saved, and it played nicely. Of course, editing would be something you want to sort. But let's stop at this point. But have a go at checking this website. OBS is free. That is another software for making videos. It is very, very, is cheap, and it is very, very good. See the website here? It has facilities for Windows and Mac OS systems as well as Linux. When you choose whichever one you want to download, and once you get it in place, you can actually, let me stop this presentation. When you get it, it's on Mac. Let me just call it OBS here. I'm opening OBS here just to show you how it looks like. You can configure it, and it's a very nice interface for presentation, and it's a beautiful thing. You can actually make it to show your slide, and you adjust by the side. Some of you may have used it. Once you've done, you would always want to go back to it. You can see how it's looking because I've configured it already. You can then choose whatever the window is to show the audio setting. Once you say start recording, it will start recording your information, but whatever you bring to the window will start showing in that window, and it will record for you. And then you want to stop recording, you can go there and stop recording, and you find your file around here, show recordings, and the recording we just did, it will show us the time. It shows a timeline really. For Mac users, there is a particular way I find it. And once I do, then I export it. Sorry, it's the time will fail me to go into that part. But clearly, here is a resource that is very, very vital and would be key in assisting those who want to do e-learning and to teach others using the system. That is much that our time can allow today. And what we have gone through today, again, is the title. Let me just take us through a bit of whether we achieved our aim today. Long journey, unfortunately, not so nice, bumpy roads, but I think we were able to achieve how PowerPoints could be manipulated to produce qualitative materials that would enhance learning. We also identified how OBS can be used, but that was just a tiny appearance. If you want the website, I send it to you. It's free. It can be easily configured, and it's a beautiful material which you can actually get the videos of. What I want us to concentrate on for the next session, of course, at the end here, somebody who wants to demonstrate something can do, but for the next session, each faculty that is actually going to produce materials should nominate at least 3 persons who can actually show 5 minutes or so of presentations that they have made using a little bit of things that we have demonstrated. Remember, each faculty should do that. That is going to contribute materials. Please don't fail. At least 3 persons. 5 is better, or even as many as can do so, just to present to us using the skills. And whatever error you make, don't be afraid. Make it, and we will be able to give some, ideas of how we can improve on these systems and bring out the best materials there can be. In other that we produce materials that will enhance postgraduate training.
I hope it works out very well. So this is what is my screen visible?
Brilliant. This
is okay.
This is brilliant.
So basically, I just did what you taught us using another picture. And so let me show this. Let me do a slideshow.
Start from beginning.
Which is to demonstrate the flow of blood through the heart chambers. Sorry.
Start from beginning. I think it was.
Yes. Let me go ahead and let me go. All right. So this is to say that the unoxygenated blood comes into the right atrium, then flows through the valve into the right ventricle, then flows out through the pulmonary veins into the lungs, and then comes back to the left atrium through the pulmonary veins, and then flows to the left ventricle.
Wonderful.
So basically, that is, I was excited that I could do it.
Wonderful.
I thought you would like to see it.
This has blown me off with arrows and so much. I don't know what others feel about this. I am impressed.
All right, thank you.
What do others feel about it? Can we give feedbacks, please? You can stop sharing.
Awesome.
It's a very good attempt. He did very well, actually.
Very well.
That's awesome, actually.
I think this is wonderful. This is very good. Wonderful. Well done. I think it's brilliant. Okay, that's fine. I'm looking forward to lots more next time, because next time we will be talking about editing videos, and people will be actually it's quite engaging.